Hello, I'd like to welcome you to this presentation on sheet metal in Inventor. We've got a model on the screen here, and what I want to do is modify the sheet metal panel here. So I'm just going to right click and open that up in its own window, and as you'll see we've got a standard panel that opens up. We can hinge this up with the constraints on both those panels, and one panel we've got the flanges all the way around the edge and the other we haven't. So what I'm going to do is show you how easy it is to add these components into it. So again, to make life a little bit easier, we're just going to right click and open it in its own window, so very quickly and easily we can actually work with that component. Now we've got several choices how we work with this. We can say that we just want to put a flange and pick an edge, and it'll put a flange on there, no problem, but we want to actually add a little bit of extra shape in there all in one hit, so we can save a bit of time while we're designing. So I'm going to cancel that, and what I'm going to do is create a sketch just on the edge of this sheet metal panel, and I'm just going to draw a simple sketch that's just going to come down and then across, and we'll perhaps go up a little bit as well. I can add some dimensions in there, so I can make this 80mm. We'll make this one 40, and we'll make this one 20. Now what I want to do is wrap that all the way around my sheet metal panel. So I can simply use my contour flange command, select my sketch, and if I wanted to I can just select one edge, but again we want to speed the process up, so I'm just going to select the loop and say I want to go all the way around my sheet metal component. Instantly we get a preview, as you can see, like so. And if I want to modify anything, I've got all the tools at my disposal. So for example, the corner, I might want to close this gap up a little bit, so rather than use the default thickness, I'm just going to make that 0.2 of a millimeter. Again, you notice the preview updates instantly. So I'm happy with that. I'm just going to say OK, and then it's going to create the sheet metal geometry for me, like so. And as you see, it's taking care of corner relief for me, the bend radiuses, etc., etc. So that's a very, very quick way of producing a sheet metal component. We'll go back to our main panel again, and the next thing I want to do is work on this component here. So again, I'm just going to open that in its own window, and I want to first of all add some flanges in here just to strengthen this panel up a little bit. And we're going to use the standard flange command, and rather than select one flange, do OK, reapply, we're going to again save a bit of time, and we can just multi-select all of the areas where we want a flange on our piece of sheet metal. Again, you can see a preview there, so you can very easily adjust the distances. You can either drag and it'll update all of those, or you can type in the dialog box and we'll just make that 25mm again and say OK. So again, very easy, very quick to create your flanges on your sheet metal. Next thing I want to do is introduce you into the punch tool environment, and we've got a little work point that I've placed on here where I want my punch to actually be placed. To use the punch tools, we're just going to go to our punch tool command, and then we can navigate to the punch tool we want to place in there, or the punch we want in there. So I'm going to go for my sheet metal, select my punches, and we just select there, and we've got a preview of the punch that we've already created. Open it up, tell it where we want to place it, so it's going to go on this point here, and here we've got control over the geometry. We can modify the angle, the rotation, the sizes, etc. I'm going to hit the finish button and just put my punch in. Now to create your own punch tools, it doesn't just have to be cutouts. We can use modeling geometry. So again, I'm just going to reveal some of the model I've already produced, and I want to put some little louvers in the top of the panel here. So I've modeled this up just by using revolves and fillets and a little cut just to produce that. To create my own custom punch tool now, all I have to do is go to my tools and say I want to extract an eye feature. An eye feature is short for intelligent feature. And what I can do is select this geometry that I want to be in my punch. So I'm going to select my cut and all of the other components of my sketch. So we're just going to take that revolution as well. Now I'm going to tell Inventor that I want this to be a sheet metal punch feature, and it opens up another box here, so I can actually choose what I want my punch ID to be called. So we'll just call this pull 2, and if I want a simplified representation of this punch in my 2D drawing, I can select a sketch to actually represent this, and I've just got a simple 2D sketch that I want to include in my punch data. I'm going to save that away now, and again I'm just going to go to my sheet metal area, choose my punch dialog box, and then give it a name. So we'll just call this Pull 2 and save it. To actually use this punch tool now, we're just going to roll back. So we just got our work points, so we don't need that geometry anymore. And again, just to say we want to insert the punch tool. We're going to go and find it where we saved it, which is going to be in a sheet metal environment, punches, and Pull 2. Now when I open this up, Inventor's going to look at all of the work points I've placed, and it's going to place a preview on there. You can see the simplified representation, which is the sketch we selected. And if we're happy with that, we just hit finish. And there we go. Very, very easy to work with. Now, what I want to do is actually create a drawing of this, so very easy to create. We're just going to use our flat pattern feature. And all we have to do is click on the flat pattern, and Inventor will produce this for us automatically. So it flattens out all of our model. If we just put this into a sketch view, we can actually see we've got the punch lines, the bend lines rather, and we've also got the simplified representation of the sketch of our piece of geometry we created. So to put this into a drawing, all we're going to do is say we want to start a new drawing. Opens up a standard template, and all we want to do now is put in the base view, and we're going to start with our flat pattern. So we've got a choice now between flat pattern and folded model, and we just place that down like so. So you can see all the sketch geometry is there as you'd expect. Now we need to document this a little bit more, and all I'm going to do is go to my annotation panel, and I can place some bend notes in here. This is the usual drop down where you'd normally have hole and thread notes, but we've also got the addition of bend notes now. And I can simply select a bend and place down a bend note. If we want to move this around, very, very easy to do. We can simply select our geometry or our bend note and just drag it wherever you want to put it. Now we've got quite a few bends on here, so it actually take quite a time to do this manually. So again, we want to speed the process up a little bit, and all we have to do is say we want to place a table. It's going to come up with a standard table dialog box, but when we select our view, it's going to understand we've got a flat pattern there, and we want to show the bend ID, direction, angle, and radius. So we say OK to that, and we can place down our bend table. It's going to annotate the drawing for us, and again we can move things around on here. We can drag and update like so, and we've got all the information in our table. So bend ID, direction, bend angle, and bend radius. Next thing I want to do is annotate my punches. And again, I don't want to do this manually. I want Inventor to do this a little bit quicker for me. So we're just going to use a standard hole table and select our view, place down our origin point, but now we're going to change from having a standard hole table, and we're going to go down to a punch table. And again, place that in the drawing. And now it's going to annotate your drawing, which again, you're free to update all of these areas, move those around, and we've got all the information on the bend. So we've got the punch ID, or sorry, the punch ID, datum point, angle, and depth, etc. So with that done, the last thing we really need to do is probably just move things around a little bit on my drawing. So I'm just going to drag that up here, and then we're going to add another view, which is going to be a folded model. We can have this shaded, and we'll also choose an isometric view and place it in our drawing like so. So again, very, very easy to do, very clear information produced from Inventor. Just tied it up there like so. And there you go, that's sheet metal, very, very easy to use and quite intuitive with the menus. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much.